we'll just wait for a couple of more minutes till around 6 past 6, and then we'll be starting, guys. So until then, we really encourage you to please turn on your camera so it is more engaging for the speaker as well to take the session. Thank you.
So without further ado, let's start the session. Other peoples will join in. So do you know, according to the surveys, 58% of the workforce needs new skills to get their jobs done. Yes, we heard it right, a massive 58%. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the day two of this incredible Placement Preparation Bootcamp, Ease in Place 3.0, organized by the Hindu Consulting Group, the Student Run Society of Hindu College, University of Delhi. We hope that the previous session has provided you with valuable insights and knowledge about the consulting industry. We are set to embark on a thrilling journey into the art of skill development. Now, just imagine possessing a set of skills so powerful that they can transform your personal and professional life, propelling you towards success in ways you never ever thought about.
Absolutely, Nisa. We understand that embarking on a skill development journey can be challenging when you're bombarded with countless resources and don't know where to begin. Let's take a minute to brainstorm what are the skills that are most demanded by the corporate and the employers. Let us know what you all think by posting your answers in the chat box. So guys, whatever skills you think that are needed in today's time, please let us know your answers in the chat box.
We see a lot of brilliant answers coming up. Indeed, you are really very great. We understood that the race to answer the best can leave us doomed while presenting ourselves. Indeed, we are all in the same boat.
But don't worry, we're here to guide you through it step by step. Today, we are privileged to have Miss Darika Jain as our speaker. She is an HR professional with 1.5 years of experience in recruitment. She has established herself as a LinkedIn content creator, amassing a dedicated following of over 700k plus followers. Among her notable achievements are being recognized as a top recruiting voice on LinkedIn, a top creator in human resources, and a 2x awardee by the Women Economic Forum in the category Economic Women Creating a Better World for All. She is passionate about mentoring individuals on how to start content creation on LinkedIn and effectively leverage it for job searching. Welcome, Darika. Thank you so much for joining us.
Indeed, Praneeth, Darika Ma'am's vast experience and insights in the field of career growth will undoubtedly provide us with valuable guidance on how to unlock the secrets to achieve your fullest potential. Let's dive into our interactive session and learn from our esteemed speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi everyone, thank you team for the wonderful introduction. How is Monday going for you all? Okay, that's strange. I was expecting something
It's
else.
great.
All right. So I remember Satvik mentioning that you guys are also involved in a couple of internships. So how are you guys juggling with college, society work, and internships? I see. All right, so we will begin with the session. Today's topic is essential skills development, and most of you have very clearly mentioned the skills borderline breakdown. I see. I mean, I've been a due student myself, but I was unfortunately a part of the pandemic batch, so did not get much exposure. But yeah, glad to hear all these answers. All right, so today I'll be talking about the skills that will help you to ace your next job interview. Can you move to the first slide? So, guys, what are some of the skills that you feel an interviewer looks out for in an interview, apart from communication? I know communication is like the first and foremost thing. Feel free to, okay, problem solving, confidence, all right, presence of mind, creativity. Fair enough. So, recruiter these days are focusing more on skill-based hiring. Now, that means that even if you do not have the required experience, but you have the necessary skill set, then you will have an edge over other candidates as long as the skills are related to the job role and other skills as well. So it's easier for them to train you if you have the relevant skill set. So talking about my experience, I was a part of the pandemic batch, and I was very active on LinkedIn. So I remember getting placed solely on the basis of my LinkedIn profile. Reason being, it was very active, and I was a part of two to three societies in my college that I was leading. Number one was placement cell, and the second was entrepreneurship cell. So it was solely on the basis of my LinkedIn profile that I was able to get a job. So I feel that soft skills play a really important role when it comes to cracking an interview and getting a job as well. Next slide, please. So when I say that recruiters are hiring on the basis of skills, there are certain questions that they ask to assess the same. One of them is behavioral slash curveball questions. How many of you have heard about curveball questions? All right. यार बोल भी सकते हो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है आई मीन आई वुड वांट इट टू बी अ लिटिल इंटरैक्टिव ऑलराइट so there are two types of questions that are usually asked. One is behavioral and the other is curveball. Curveball questions are very odd questions that are asked to a person to see how well they will be able to deal with it under stressful conditions. Hypothetical questions होते हैं. For example, if I ask you, if you had one superpower, what will it be? बहुत absurd sound करेगा. This will not be related to the job role. This will not be related to your profile, but this question will simply be asked to understand your presence of mind, your creativity. It will give them an idea about your personality. I remember asking this question to one of the candidates, to which the candidate said that I want to make this world a better place by, being more empathetic, being kind. So I got a hint about the personality of the person that okay, he or she is very kind, she would be a good leader, she would be good with teamwork. So that's how I get an idea about the personality. Now, next is behavioral questions. These are very commonly asked by top MNCs, by consulting firms to get an idea as to how well you handle the situation. For example, a question could be like, how well you were able to, work under pressure and strict deadlines, or whenever there was a conflict in your team, how well you were able to handle it. So these are some of the questions that are, mostly asked by the recruiters to assess your soft skills as well as hard skills to some extent. Next slide, please. These are the most common soft skills that an interviewer looks out for in an interview. Number one being communication. So when I say communication, I do not solely mean that the candidate has to be very fluent or needs to be very good with verbal communication, but whatever he or she is conveying, it should be very clear to me. I should be able to understand it. That's the main focus. Number two, leadership. You should be leading by example. You should be able to guide the other person even when you're not in a formal setting. That's the true, definition of a leader. Number three, adaptability. Adaptability is being open to change and how well you're able to adapt yourself to a new surrounding. For example, you get hired for an analyst role in the organization, and maybe after a couple of months you switch to a different role. So of course, You were hired for a particular role, you had those roles in mind, and now they've, put you into a different position. So they want to see how well you're able to adapt to a few things, you're able to learn, right? Problem solving, understandable है. उसके बाद strong work ethic. So you need to be dedicated and you should have strong commitment for your work, because if your ethics are not strong, I don't think an organization would want to work with you, right? Next slide. These are some of the hard skills or technical skills, basically job competencies that are related to a particular role. So I have listed down few of the skills that are usually required in a role, irrespective of whatever profile you're applying for. MS Excel, PowerPoint, Office Suite are some of the skills that a person will require you to have, be it any role. Then when I talk about HTML, Java, these are again technical skills for maybe an analyst role or some other position. Then, if I talk specifically about consulting, the person would want you to have analytical skills, project management, technical proficiency, and data analysis, of course. So, these are some of the skills that vary from role to role, but these are the basic ones that I've listed out. Next slide. Can you increase the size a bit? Sure. So this is a JD that I've extracted from the career portal of EY to for you to give an idea as to what are some of the skills that we look out for in an interview. So in the client delivery responsibilities, you can see terms like finance, team member, leveraging data, innovative solutions, identifying risks. So these are some of the things that we would want in a candidate. So whenever you prepare a resume, make sure you mention these keywords in the resume, because there's this thing called ATS friendly, and if you will have these skills already in the resume, you will have more chances of getting shortlisted. Then in the qualification, there's this degree, excellent communication, presentation skills, interpersonal skills. So I think you guys will have a basic understanding of how soft skills play a very important role. It's not just about technical skills or how well you're good with logical reasoning, but more about soft skills, how well you're able to, present yourself. Then there are additional qualifications like Power BI, Snow, Python. If you know, it's like an added advantage. And so this particular role is based out of Jakarta, so they would want someone to, speak very fluently in their language. So that's like an additional thing that you can have. Next slide. So these are the most in-demand skills right now, apart from the soft skills that I recently mentioned. Number one is storytelling. So storytelling, what basics are lagega? Storytelling is all about how well you're able to weave your answer into a story. For example, recruiter का सबसे favorite question होता है, tell me something about yourself. Now, when you answer that question, you can actually frame a story around it, saying that, I come from so and so college. This is what I wanted to do. This is a little about me. These are some of my hobbies. Mention 2 to 3 things that are not mentioned in your resume. Make a story out of it. A question could also be like, so in your college days or in your internships, you have done internships around sales marketing and you're applying for an HR role. So why should we hire you? You can actually weave a story talking about how you came into college, you were confused about what domain you're interested in, took up couple of internships like we always do to actually figure out what sort of role we're actually interested in, and then by the third year you eventually get an idea कि हाँ मुझे इस role में जाना है. So that's how you can weave a story around it, and this is not just limited to creative roles but to other roles as well. Number two, industry knowledge. You have to stay updated on the industry trends and the market dynamics and the best practices, because they would want the person to be industry street smart, industry ready as well. Number three, negotiation skills. Negotiation skills are not only important when you have to talk about salary, that hey, I want an increment or this is something that I want and the company is not offering, but when you are in a consultant role, it requires you to negotiate with clients and stakeholders. So you need to have that skill wherein you're able to speak confidently with them and arrive at a mutually beneficial agreement. Number four, presentation skills. You have to be able to, deliver compelling presentation and communicate your findings and recommendations very clearly. Number five is test writing abilities. There are a lot of companies like IBM, TCS that have test. They have a written test that is supposed to be given, and they assess you on 3 parameters. Number one has to be logical reasoning. Number two is quant, and number three is your verbal ability, just like you have in MBA exams, not of that level, but on a very basic level, wherein they want to assess you on these two to three things so that they know that you're good with numbers and you will be a great fit for the role, whatever they're hiring for, be it an analyst role, be it a consulting role, or so or the other. So test writing ability is something that you would also have to work upon. Plus, when we target consulting roles, guesstimates play a very important role. And if you are not good with logical reasoning, problem solving, you won't be able to crack the first round of the interview, right? Next slide. So guesstimates, I'm sure you guys must have an idea what guesstimates are. So what is the approach that you guys usually use to, start with it? I mean, I've seen people straight away jumping into solving a question and not following the framework. So do you guys actually face a problem while going through it or how? Like, yes, Yashil.
I guess I would first of all, uh, you know, uh, just see the whole situation before jumping onto the conclusions or just solving the problem. First, you should know the whole scene going in that company, that what have they done in past which resulted in this or whatever they are going through now.
All right. I think most of you will agree with this because whenever you such a question is given to you, I think your main task should be to understand the framework, how the question is faced, instead of jumping into solving the question. So, of course, whatever a recruiter asks in an interview, there is a purpose behind it, and same goes for guesstimates as well. For guesstimate, there is no right or wrong answer. What we want to understand is the approach that you're using to solve the question because everyone will have a different perspective or different point of view to solve the question. So the purpose behind asking a guesstimate, number one, is how structured is your approach, as Yashil mentioned, that make sure to understand the framework, how is it like, and then jump onto the question. Number two, how comfortable are you with numbers? Right, because there will be a question wherein you have to estimate, like maybe if something is related to population, you will have to have a certain figure in mind. Then you will use a top to bottom approach or a bottom to top approach, and then you will figure out how to go about it with background check, and then you will consolidate the entire data. Number three, can you make logical assumptions under pressure? All of us, when we are grilled or when we are faced in a difficult situation, we tend to get nervous. And जो आता है हम वो भी नहीं बोल पाते, right? Most of the times that happens. So we want to understand if you're able to work under pressure or not, and if you're able to, arrive at a certain conclusion. Number four, can you do mental calculations and validate the magnitude of numbers? Now, of course, we won't give you a calculator at that time to, calculate ki, haan, theek hai, itna decimal mein, itna percentage mein, whatsoever. So we want to see how well you're able to, arrive at an approximate number. It's all about approximation. We don't want an exact answer. We just want to see how you approach the problem and how you're able to deal with it. Number five, can you explain your process clearly, even if the path is a bit messy? So we want you to explain the entire process. We don't want the answer. For example, a question could be like, how many iPhone users do you think are there in India? अब मुझे सिर्फ आंसर नहीं चाहिए. I want the entire process कि ठीक है कितने iPhone users हैं. So obviously you will ask me to clarify that are you targeting a specific model? Are you just talking about iPhone 12 or any specific model? Then you will break down the numbers into easily achievable ones. Then you will consolidate the data. You will take the background and then you will arrive at a solution. So that is the purpose of asking guesstimate, behavioral questions, curveball questions. All of these will help us to get an idea of your soft skills. Will you be fit for a role? Because we know कि training तो मिल ही जाएगी. It will be easy for us to train you if you have the skills. So for a lot of roles, when you apply for an accounting role or for a finance role, we want the person to have certain certifications if we do not have the experience. So a CA certification, FRM, CFA, these are some of the certifications that we target. When it comes to a consulting role, then PMP and CMC, all of these certifications are required. So when you graduate after college and you're applying for these top MNCs like EY, Deloitte, all of these, you only have to apply to the portal. So the only way you have to, get a chance to get shortlisted is through your resume and through the certifications that you have, along with cold emailing, because you might not be able to connect with the right person. But if you send cold emails daily, to different people from the same organization, to different recruiters, you have more chances. So that's how, guesstimates work as well for us to get an idea. Next slide, please. These are recommendations of some of the YouTube channels that you guys can use from beginner to advanced level for you to get an idea how to solve guesstimates, how to, go about it. You can also have a buddy who can help you with the entire process once your placement session begins. Or would you want to just go through the channel once, or we can skip it?
I believe I'll put the link to the YouTube channels in the chat box,
Okay.
and it will be more easier
Okay.
for everyone to go through it.
All right, all right. Also, this is not a skill, but an important thing. You need to have an active LinkedIn profile. How many of you guys are actively using LinkedIn? Not for job opportunities, but otherwise. All right. Okay, interesting. So, what is the average duration of scrolling through LinkedIn? Because up to reels bhi aa gayi hain. So, how are you guys leveraging it? 35 minutes. All right.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Please tell me.
Yeah, how important like it is to have like expert batch. Like I'm continuously posting regarding leadership and all, and
Okay.
I'm in top 10% of the that thing. So they
Okay.
are saying that if you are in top 5%, you will get that badge of the expert and all. So how important is
Okay.
that?
All right. What is the amount of connection? What is the number of connections that you have on LinkedIn?
I have 2022 something.
Okay. And whatever batch that you are getting, or uh, whatever batch you have at the moment, do you write content? Do you create something around the same topic?
No, no, I don't have any badge right now, but
Okay.
I do contribute to the articles and all which come like on communication, leadership and all.
Okay, all right. So see that it's not like it's very, very important for you to have it, but if you have it, you feel like you've achieved something. You mentioned that you went to top 5% or top 10% about on leadership part. So I think it
Yeah,
is beneficial, but if you start creating content around it, it will have more value.
got it, got it.
All right.
Thank you.
So you just asked the question, does active content writing on LinkedIn provide any leverage? Yes, it
Yeah,
does. I began writing, so I created my LinkedIn profile in 2018. That's when I entered college. I actively started writing in pandemic. My first job was through LinkedIn. My second job was with American Express. That was also through LinkedIn. That happened because I was very active on LinkedIn. I used to create content in my niche as and when I got into HR. And you won't believe, so there was this recruiter who had, put a posting on the LinkedIn page that we're hiring for so and so profile. I dropped her a mail, and within 10 minutes, I got a call that I've been shortlisted for the telephonic round. So that is the power of LinkedIn if you're an active content creator.
great, great, great. And about cold mailing also, that when
Mm-hmm.
I was searching for the internship, I did some cold
Okay.
emailing around 100 plus people,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
got no such good response from them. So I was talking to someone. He told me that companies don't actually focus on one individual so much because they go for campus hiring and all. It will be
Mm-hmm.
more good for them. So they will not focus on a single person for that. So cold emailing might not work.
Right. So, I mean, of course, everyone has a mixed opinion on this one, but cold emailing can prove to be helpful when it comes to an internship like Zomato or so or the other organization. When it comes to organizations like EY, Deloitte, their cold emailing along with a referral works wonder. Now, when I talk about referral, I suggest you to have two email IDs. First email ID is through which you will be applying through the portal. सेकंड ईमेल आईडी इज कि ये तुम्हारा कोई भी फ्रेंड who's working in the same organization उसको तुम दूसरी email ID पकड़ाओ and ask him to get you a referral. So you have double chances of getting a call for an interview. So cold emailing help करता है, but it's all about luck. You will have to send a lot of emails, like 20 to 30 emails in a day. If you're willing to put in that effort, it might work for you, it might not. So Sarthak has a question. While going through resume, do you consider
Hello.
offering? Hello. Yes.
I have a question. How to leverage
Mhm.
a LinkedIn if you're targeting a analyst role
Okay. All right. So, is it in terms of content? Is it in terms of finding a job opportunity? How is it like?
in terms of finding a job?
Okay. So number one, I'll talk about the alumni feature. There's an alumni feature on LinkedIn wherein when once you click on that option, you will be able to find the list of people who, were your batchmates in college, in your school, or wheresoever you're working in your organization. What you can do is you can simply drop them a message saying that, hey, we share the same alma mater, would you be willing to help me with the referral? Because अगर तुम्हारा दोस्त तुम्हारी ड्रीम कंपनी में काम कर रहा है, you would have better chances of getting a referral than reaching out to a stranger saying कि यार मुझे रेफर कर दो जॉब के. This is the exact message that I usually get on LinkedIn कि मैम मुझे रेफर कर दो, with no job ID, with no role, nothing.
Okay, got it.
Yes, yes, yes. So Sarthak has a question. While going through resume, do you consider online courses from sites like Udemy, Coursera? Yes, we do consider, as long as they are related to the role that you're applying for. We will do that if you do not have the required experience. And if with experience you have these additional things, it's like a win-win situation.
Ma'am, what matters the most, like the course, the content? Like if I did a course on leadership, so what matters the
Hmm.
most, the organization or the content of the course? Like I did the leadership course from the IM Ahmedabad. So
Hmm. I did not understand your question. What is it that if you can put that in the chat box? How to increase industry knowledge. So, Ananya, are you talking specifically about the role or how is it like? I mean, if you're applying for a consulting role, are you applying for an analyst role? You will have to read up a bit. If I'm talking about AI, you will have to, go through the articles, leverage LinkedIn. There are a couple of mentors that are there, consume their content. There are a couple of articles that are available as well for an analyst role. All right. So I think I would suggest you to upskill yourself in the form of certifications, in the form of courses, speak to your mentors, speak to the ex-employees of the organization. They will be able to help you as well. The CGPA matter while applying for this job role, even though I have a really good. Okay, so I think that's a myth. CGPA matter करती है, but if you have experience, if you've done projects, if you've done case competitions, for that matter, you have tag of a DU student. I think वही बहुत uh, you know काफी होता है to get you a job because I know like SRCC, Hindu, all of these colleges they have Bain and Company and all of these organizations coming for campus placement. So CGPA तो of course अच्छी होगी, but if you have experience in case competitions, if you were leading a society, if you've done couple of projects, you're a content creator, something else that is going to add a lot of value, and it's not just about CGPA. That will only matter when you want to, get into IIMs or any top colleges. Tab CGPA will play a very important role.
Hello. Uh,
Hello. Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question related.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ma'am, is there any alternative that we can add an experience section other than one internship if someone does not have? So if you do not have an internship experience, do take up freelancing opportunities, take up a volunteering project. I think that can also be added. And I don't think there is any solid reason for you to mention that you're not doing an internship. I mean, in the 3 years of a college, लोग अपना स्टार्टअप बना लेते हैं. They have these ideas and actors के आइडिया को स्टार्टअप में कन्वर्ट कर लेते हैं. So I'm sure there has to be a valid reason for you to not do any internship, because by the time you'll graduate you will not have an understanding कि मुझे किस डोमेन में जाना है. मेरे पास इंटर्नशिप एक्सपीरियंस ही नहीं है. Had it been a different scenario that it was pandemic time and you were not able to take up any internship, or you need to have something very constructive to justify that what you were doing all that time. If you were a content creator, you were creating informative videos or something else.
हेलो.
Hello.
मैम, मुझे प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट की इंटर्नशिप करनी चाहिए अगर एनालिस्ट रोल को टारगेट कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे
Analyst
ऑफर है
maybe.
एक
Mhm.
कंपनी
Hmm.
की तरफ से ऑफर है इंटर्नशिप का, तो
Okay.
कैन आई गो फॉर प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट?
हाँ, I mean if that aligns with your role, अगर आपको सही में उस डोमेन में जाना है तो you can go about it. There's no harm. Just look at the roles and responsibilities and see, because मैंने बहुत बार देखा lot of people compromise on the role, and they are more interested in the brand name or the salary package. So I think you have to be very specific कि अगर job role analyst का है और तुम्हें for example EY से offer आया and they're offering you something into HR or content creation, you would not go for it. Company का tag तो लग रहा है, but you are missing out on the role that you actually wanted to go for.
यस मैम।
All right. So someone has asked a question regarding ATS friendly resume. So I think that's very, very important. A lot of companies do not manually look at the resumes. There are certain keywords that are supposed to be mentioned. So what you guys can do is, whenever there's a job description that is given to you by the organization, look out for the keywords that are there, like I showed you, interpersonal skills, Power BI, all of these things. Mention those keywords in your resume, so whenever the resume will pass through ATS, those keywords will go there, and you will have more chances of your resume, getting shortlisted. Also, don't make use of symbols. You have that call icon and all of these things. Don't make use of tables and columns unless it has been, given to you by the college that you have to make use of the format. Because a lot of colleges, ask you to follow a certain format for campus placements. So unless that is being done, that's fine. But if not, do away with symbols, and preferably try to make it divide into two columns, right and left, so that it is readable for the other person as well. So that's an interesting question. Pallavi is a dentist by profession and she's currently pursuing an MBA. How can I improve my technical skills? I don't know, why does this not align? So you're a dentist by profession, you are currently pursuing an MBA, and you want to improve your technical skills. मुझे question ही समझ नहीं आ रहा है that how would you want to go about it? Technical skills, what role is it related to? Why are you pursuing an MBA? Have you given up dentistry? I want to, have a better understanding about the question for me to be able to answer it.
Hi. So is that okay if I speak on, if I unmute myself?
Yeah, I mean, as long as the team members are fine, you can go ahead.
Okay. So actually, yeah, I have given up on dentistry. I don't want to pursue clinical further. I'm doing my MBA in hospital and healthcare management. And for my future roles, I'm looking forward in consulting that deals in healthcare. So healthcare consultancy particularly.
Okay.
When I say technical skills, I mean to say that is it important for me to have a knowledge about Power BI and all those skills, or just having a brief understanding of Microsoft Office is enough?
Okay. So I think that will also depend upon the organization. A lot of organizations would want you to have these skills, I mean, on a basic level, not an advanced level, but at a basic level.
Okay, so can you just like name few technical skills other than Microsoft Office that I should have at least beginners level so that I can work on it?
All right. If you can just put that in DM, or maybe you can just drop me a message on LinkedIn, we'll answer that in brief for sure.
Sure, thank you so much.
All right. You're welcome.
Ma'am, while you were answering, some questions just got skipped. If it's fine, I'll read the questions to you. Is that
Yeah,
fine?
yeah. I just saw the question. I think I missed Kavya's question. I will just take them up because some of them were related. No worries. Thank you so much, Sunil.
Okay.
So there's question coming in from Kavya. Do you have to have top grades or a well-balanced CV with a lot of curricular activities? And if you have analyticals, all right. So top grades is not mandatory. As I again mentioned, this is something that is required mostly in colleges if you're targeting a top college for an MBA or maybe for some other course. A well-balanced CV with a lot of curricular activities. So curricular activities, so there's a difference when you are stepping into the corporate world and you do not have any experience, it is preferable to mention the curricular activities that you have. But if they are not aligned with the role, I would suggest you to skip. I mean, if you took part in, I don't know, something related to sports and you are applying for a different role that has no connection with it, I don't think you should be mentioning that in the resume. So I think a balanced CV with lot of, responsibilities that you took up in college, in school, some competition, case study competitions, B plan competitions, whatsoever you've done, will give you an added advantage. And average CGPA is fine because हम CGPA का क्या ही करेंगे? We want you to work well. We want to have the skills that are needed. So you're a tech student at a government college, works fine. I think you should work on creating a well-balanced CV with a lot of, your internships and all of these things that you've done in college. That will give more weightage. What do you mean by forage internship is a scam? I did not understand the word. If um, someone from the team can explain that to me.
Sorry, Darika, could you please repeat?
Yeah, I said that there's a question which says that everyone has mixed opinion for this one. Some say it's beneficial that forage internship is a scam. So I'm not very familiar with the word. Just wanted to, understand the meaning and then I'll be able to talk about it.
So like forage internship is basically something that recently came up.
Okay.
So it was something of sort that many people were getting the internship, and like anyone
Hmm.
you would say, is getting that opportunity to build their professional experience and everything, and it was getting pretty easy for people to get it. So that is why some people think that they are helping you grow, they're helping you learn by expanding your network and helping you broaden your perspective. But then again, some say that it's a scam, and it's just like a sort of a run of the mill internship, and they're just using you to propagate
Hmm.
their idea. So that's why that person wants to know your take on it.
Okay, okay. So I think whatever internship you do during your college days is going to, help you learn. As long as it is not an unpaid internship, I would not suggest anyone to go for an unpaid internship. जिसमें सबसे बड़ा red flag होगा, they will ask you to come to office 6 days a week, then 9 to 5 working hours होंगे, and they'll say that okay, we'll give you a certificate, we'll give you a letter of completion, a letter of recommendation. So this is something that I would suggest you to not go for. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much about it. I mean, I haven't researched more about forage internship, but yes, if it is a reputable brand and if it is adding value to you, if you're able to, learn something out of it, only then I would recommend you to go for it.
Darika, there were some questions on top by
Mm-hmm.
some of the members. Like it
All
was
right.
when you were answering, so I'll just read them out.
Mm-hmm.
So one was, what does a recruiter look for in a group discussion round, and how to ace them?
Okay, all right. So in group discussion, we actually want to, understand the industry knowledge that you guys have, and we want to assess the soft skills. So number one is soft skills, number two is industry knowledge. So I think it will come with practice only, just like for interviews, we suggest you to do mock interviews with your friends so that you do not get nervous and you're able to, arrive at the right answer to certain questions. That is what I would suggest for group interviews as well. There's a question, what skill set should a first and a second year student have? So basic skill sets, basic soft skills like leadership qualities, being able to communicate well, problem solving, negotiation, all of these skills are super, super important for a first or second year student, irrespective of whatever role you will be targeting in the coming years. The first YouTube link is not accessible. I think it is. Can you try clicking on the link once? there will be a sort of blue dot that'll come when you go click on the cursor.
Satvik, just look into it. The YouTube link is not active, members are saying that you have
If
pasted in
it's
the
not
chat box.
Yeah, if it is not active, then I will probably send it to you after the session ends, or I will send it in the chat box here. But it should be accessible. I think I did check before sending in the PPT, so it should be working.
Right. So there's some more questions flowing in, so we'll just
Mhm.
take them.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. So there's
So
questions from, yeah, sorry, please go ahead.
yeah. So one is, how do we learn all these communication, leadership, and negotiation skills?
All right. So communication, so all of these skills are the more you do it, the better you become at it. So communication का क्या है? I'm sure you do a lot of networking when you go to an event, or maybe there's a competition or something else. You will be required to communicate, or for say there are a lot of presentations that you are supposed to deliver during your college days, and one or the other course that you have, that you will be given a specific topic. So the more you do it, the better you will become at it. Leadership will, come through participating in different roles, taking up competitions, or, so a lot of members end up, joining 4 to 5 societies in the first year. By the time you, enter into the second year, you decide कि ठीक है, एक society का I want to become the president for sure. And once you do that, you take up a lot of responsibilities, and you also have to, guide other team members. So I think that's the best way to build on leadership and negotiation skills. So I think we're selling ourselves every day. I mean, so are the other things. So negotiation skills will come automatically. I mean, when you guys negotiate for a salary from the recruiter, the package is 8 LP, and you say, yeah, I want somewhere around 10 LPA. So you need to have a strong, reason for negotiating well. So I think that comes with experience. For communication, of course, the more you do it, the better you will become at it. Leadership, college societies, all of these events that you attend, you will be able to build up on those.
Ma'am, there is another question. How
Mm-hmm.
much of an importance do campus ambassador roles hold? Like there are internships coming in the
Hmm.
form of campus ambassadors for companies like OnePlus or KFC. Are these going to add a value in our CV?
Yes, I think they will be adding value because, of course, you are, learning something out of it. And you mentioned KFC and all of these brands. You are getting a tag that you work with so the other organization. If you're working as a campus ambassador, I think campus ambassador is very similar to a founder's office role. Founder's office role is very in these days, and a lot of people are going for it because you get to work closely with the founder. And when you are a campus ambassador, I think they will ask you to generate leads, do sales and marketing, and all of these things that will help you to work on your communication skills, on your confidence, negotiation. All of these things will come into picture. So if you are looking to hone your skills, I think campus ambassador program could be a great option for you. In my college, I started working with a brand called Pro Wisdom Growth. It is not a very renowned brand. Most of you must have not heard about it. It was also a sort of campus ambassador program wherein I got to speak with a lot of people who would be at a very big position right now, who I got to interview, and I'm still connected with them. Then manage the company's handle. You get to do a lot of stuff, and time management is also something that you learn. So I think it's beneficial. In my opinion, one should go for it.
I had a personal question also. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for like when you mentioned that it is important to have analytical skills for consultancy
Mm-hmm.
role, what exactly do
Okay.
you mean by analytical skills?
Okay. So I mean, since I haven't hired for consulting roles, but if I talk specifically, then there will be certain programming languages and other stuff that I would want. So in analytical skills, I mean, I would want you to be very good with logical reasoning, quant, numbers, and couple of certifications that you would have to give you an edge over other candidates. So I think these are some of the skills that I would, want in a candidate. How to develop a LinkedIn profile? All right, so there are four elements for a LinkedIn profile. Number one has to be your profile picture. So profile picture has to be a decent one, preferably a headshot like I have it on my profile. Then second has to be the banner that is there, that is the cover photo that you have. So the banner should represent you. For example, you are, working for an organization, you have your own personal brand, you have worked with couple of, societies, you've done couple of internships. You can have those logos in your banner. You can have per se a motto that you live by that you would want the person to see whenever they search for you. Then the third thing is the headline. So a headline should have three things. Number one has to be a tagline. So when we talk about Nike, there's a tagline that comes to our mind, just do it. In the same manner, you also need to have a tagline. For example, if I'm an HR professional, my tagline is helping people become job ready, something that defines me, something that lets the other person know that she has a personal brand, she is doing something. Then mention two to three skills that you have built over time, or two to three skills that you wish to enhance post your college or post your internship. And then mention a bit about whatsoever college you are in. So if you are in Hindu college, mention Hindu college, whatever society you're leading, the course, etc. So your headline has to be very impactful, because whenever we do headhunting on LinkedIn and we want to hire a specific person, whenever we mention the person's name or we mention a keyword, that keyword will pop in your headline and your profile will stand out. Fourth is your about section, wherein you need to, you can create it in the form of a story and talk about yourself, the projects that you've done, and whatsoever. How do you ask for referrals from employees of the organization? So when it comes to referrals, I would suggest always try asking for a referral who is two to three positions higher than you, right? Or from the role that you're targeting. So, for example, if you're targeting an associate role, so do not reach out to a person who has recently joined the organization. क्या LinkedIn पे post देखी, I have joined this organization, I would like to thank so and so people. उसको मत reach out करना for a referral, because that person will not be able to help you. And for a referral, I would suggest to make use of the alumni feature first, and also do not directly reach out for a referral. Try building a connection, because we recruiters constantly receive messages saying that, ma'am, we want a job, ma'am, we want a referral. There has to be a context. Mention the job ID. Try to build a connection. There are a lot of recruiters who are very active when it comes to creating content. Try engaging on their post for a couple of days. The recruiter will have you in the back of the mind that, hey, this XYZ person has commented on my post. And if there's a DM that has been sent to me, I will make sure to read it. So I think this is a great trick for you to, get an idea how to ask for a referral. Try reaching out to ex-employees. Try reaching out so for example, you are targeting a specific role and there are a lot of recruiters who will be hiring for other roles as well. There is no surety that if there are 100 HRs in the organization and you want to reach out to them for an analyst role, all of them would be hiring for it. So I would suggest reach out to one HR, ask her who is the right POC, and then make your way accordingly.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
Should we try to focus on getting best in any particular domain that we are working on or we have knowledge of, or we should try to add different diverse unique fields that differentiate us from other resumes?
So if you are not sure what field is right for you, I would suggest you to experiment. I think when you get into the first year of college, you are not sure. So I think सब sales marketing की internship तो जरूर करते हैं. I remember my captain, House It, all of these organizations, people have at least done one internship in sales and marketing. Then look out for other fields and see which one suits you the best, and then you can actually, find out the right one and go about it. Hope that answers your question, Abhishek.
Yes, ma'am, it does. One of the questions that got missed, and probably many of the people who really wanted to ask that question, is how
All
can
right.
we do valuable internship in the college if we are not getting it in the college?
All right. So I think you can build a strong network on all of these portals, LinkedIn and others. So there are a lot of companies like D for Delhi, A lot of companies on Instagram as well constantly put up hiring posts. So I would suggest networking is very, very important. Attend a lot of events that happen, meet people, tell them about yourself and just let them know that, you would be interested in so or the other field. Collaborate with people, take up freelance opportunities, and then, of course, I mean, you will have to do your bit. There are times when you will not be able to find a very good brand that you want to work with, and you might compromise on the brand name for an internship. So I think through LinkedIn, through networking, you will be able to, get a good opportunity.
Can you please touch upon cold mailing a bit? Like, what are the do's and don'ts?
All right. So in cold emailing, I would suggest you to be a little creative and try experimenting with the subject line. And so for cold emailing, I would suggest you to target 4 to 5 people of the same organization who are working in a similar role. Give them a brief about yourself and about 4 to 5 lines. You can also say that these are 4 to 5 reasons why you should not be hiring me. तो एक्सपेरिमेंट पता है कि हायर क्यों करना है क्यों नहीं हायर करना चाहिए so write 4 to 5 that the recruiter might be looking out for. I don't think there's harm in, being a little creative and experimenting with your cold emails. I remember I hired a person in American Express who used to send me an email every single day. I think he did that for about 2 to 3 months. I did not have a very valid role for him, and I happened to hire him after 3 months. I'm sure itni mehnat koi nahi karega. No one has this patience to, keep sending emails for straight up 3 months to a recruiter. But yes, I think you have to be very specific and at least 5 to 10 cold emails should be sent and don't be restricted to a specific person. Try on LinkedIn as well. Send a link, there's LinkedIn emails and their LinkedIn messages. Make them personal, as personalized as possible. Send them emails as well. Make use of both the platforms and take follow-ups too. There are times when, we tend to miss out on the mail. So take follow-ups after maybe 2 to 3 days or 4 to 5 days so that to ensure that your message has reached the person or not.
And is there any follow back time? Like, after this much time, you should follow back
Two
on
to
your.
three days, 2 to 3 days.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Now moving further to the last question for the day, it certainly got missed, but was asked in the beginning of the session. How can we
Okay.
prepare compelling stories to answer behavioral interview questions?
All right. So for behavioral interview questions, there is an approach called the STAR approach, wherein S stands for situation, T is for task, A is for action, R is for result. So I would suggest if you use this approach, wherein you talk about the situation that you were put into, the task that was given to you, what was your action, and what was the result. So use this approach, and then you will be able to create a great story. So STAR approach is what you can make use of while answering behavioral questions, curveball questions, and you can also use that in storytelling.
Got it, ma'am. We truly appreciate your time and commitment for being here today with us and providing us with exceptional guidance on how to develop one set skills in this competitive world. Please accept the small token of appreciation from our side. Can we have the memento present, please?
Thank you so much, everyone, for this.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope that the dedication, preparation, and skills you mastered in this session propel you towards success in all your future interviews. We shall meet again tomorrow for another insightful session on consulting as a gateway. Until then, keep learning, stay tuned, and thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
All right, welcome.
Guys, you may leave the meeting. We have recorded the attendance for the session and we'll be taking it into account. So thank you for joining in.